Hi, my name's Yasmin and I'm the DM.
Hi, my name is Samantha. I play Elora Greyvale and she is a sorceress from the province of Nephalia.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I play Ogvar Shawfort, a goat-herding, mushroom-seeking ranger from Kessig.
Hi, I'm Rick, and I play Otto, a spring sage from Hanweir sworn to the land, wandering the plain and setting wrongs to right with his ursine companion, Bojo.
As the scene set on last week's episode, we saw the Elysian shadow cruising her way across the canopy of the forest, bound for town with her precious people cargo. As her hull cast its menacing shadow near Gatstaf's main gates, panic broke out in the ranks below. As shouting turned to semaphore, the sorceress attempted to communicate to the guards on the ground, but after many minutes, Otto's patience petered out. Taking to his wings, Elora became a willing hitchhiker, whereas Esther did not. The debacle that followed delivered human hurricanes from the heavens and a comedic case of friendly fire. However, the levity of the situation soon turned to gravity, as the townfolk gathered, some for rapturous reunions with stolen souls, others brought to their knees with grief and despair. Inconsolable in their heartbreak, their hope in tatters and fears come to fruition. Speaking with the priestess, promises, provision and requests were made, and a pledge by our companions to return to the mine. Otto's oratory exchange with Davy did not go well, but the fashion dice gods had spoken, for brown trousers were out and red cheeks were in, and, as we left, a wardrobe change was required. Episode 194, Shroom on the Broom.
Do you like your tabletop RPGs to be grim, gritty, and grounded? If so, then Legend of the Bones is the podcast for you. A hybrid of dark fantasy audio drama and old-school solo D&D. In Legend of the Bones, the dice rule. There'll be no rerolls, no fudging the dice, no metacurrency. The roll of the bones will determine the character's destiny, and no one will be spared their fate. None shall escape the destiny of Bone.
Okay, would somebody like to give me, and give Ryan, a recap of what happened last time?
Yeah, I think Sam was doing an excellent job with this when I jumped on the call, so Sam, why don't you do this for us?
She doesn't know what's happening.
Right. Well, I've done it once. Right, we all jumped back on the boat and regrouped and took all the people on the boat and then went flying low over the trees back to Gatstaf, at which point, looking down, the guards at the gate were panicking, so Elora started waving and trying to do some kind of semaphore fucking charades with them from the ship, leaning over. And Esther was hanging on to Elora to make sure she didn't fall over the edge of the boat because she was leaning over. And I think Otto got just very fed up with the lack of communication that was going across and grabbed Elora. Unfortunately, Esther went with her and slid down holding her feet, and then everybody got dragged off the boat, and then he sort of dive-bombed and used them as like bouncing bombs to sort of try and take out the two guards below, pretty much. Everybody came out the houses, gathered by the gates and the town square. People were elated to see their loved ones come off the ship on the hoist, and other people were devastated to find that their loved ones weren't there. And the cleric, whose name I haven't got, seemed to... she seemed to be a protege of Samuel, and was obviously upset to find that Samuel wasn't there. Otto agreed to take Davy and a few other of the miners, plus Kaif and Esther as well, back up to the mines to clear out the mines, try and find remains, try and identify people. And Elora... Oh, and he tried to engage Davy in a conversation. Davy was rude to him, so he scared Davy by turning into a troll with a nat 20 intimidation check, and Davy shit his pants and then had to go off to get them changed for fresh ones. And I think that's kind of where we left it. Oh, we left it with him having turned from a troll back into a butterfly so that the children weren't scared, and he was enthralling them with flitting around with his pretty wings. And that was where we left it, I believe.
Yeah. I think that summarised it nicely.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay. Lovely. So, set the scene. You are all stood outside. The ship is floating, not super high off the ground, but it is a good distance off the ground. All of you are gathered in this central area outside the northern gates, and around you are scenes of joy, of sorrow, people reuniting, children running around, and this scene has just taken place where Otto has quite literally scared the crap out of Davy. With that, you've had a bit of a discussion about what your next steps are going to be, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Yes. Lovely. So in time, probably 10 minutes or so passes, and people start to move back into the town. The cart and the ponies which have been brought up, you see the people you've rescued are helped onto the cart. They're settled, sat down, as the cartman turns the pony around and begins to gently walk back down the main road towards the town square. And people begin to follow, walking at a sedate pace. They kind of trail along behind, leaving really kind of you guys at the back, kind of stood around watching this happen as people are leaving, and a couple of the miners who are kicking around, looking like they don't really know whether they should be going back to town or whether they should be waiting here. What are we doing?
Esther, I think...
Yes, do we?
Do you think it's better that we keep Hans in the medical cabin on the ship for now, so that we can keep an eye on him, or do you think it's better that we perhaps send maybe somebody to sit with him in his house, or what do you think we should do? I know that you're planning to go up to the mine with Otto. I mean, I'm still here. I suppose... Do you think it would be better to keep him on the ship, or do you think we should take him back to his house?
Well, dearie, I think it might be worth taking him back to his house. I mean, he will have his creature comforts, and there's a perfectly good bed, and the local community around him, and that young priestess. I'm sure that they'd be in a good position to care for him, and if Otto and myself are planning to go into the mines to clear up this mess, then perhaps the rest of you should stay within the town for the time being. Keep an eye on things.
Yeah, perhaps Genric would stay with Hans. Maybe. What do you think? Perhaps I should go and ask him. Has Genric come down off the ship?
Yeah, you're all there.
Genric, do you think that you might like to maybe take care of Hans. I mean, you've got Eric. You can send Eric to do your bidding or whatever it is that you do. But if I take you and Hans back to his home, because I know where it is, maybe you guys can look after him and see what you can do for him.
Yes, of course, if that's what you wish.
Well, I think if he comes around, it'd be good for him to see an old friend, someone familiar. Right, so I'm assuming that we've left Hans on the ship for now, or was he brought down on the hoist? I'm unclear on that.
That's your decision. If you would like to have left Hans up there, if you want to have brought Hans down, that is your decision. That is something that you would have done as players. So what would you have done?
I think we would have brought him down afterwards, right?
You mean brought him down with the others, or left him on the ship to bring down?
I think bring him down.
Okay, yeah.
Bring him down now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we would have left him on the ship initially. All the hubbub's died down and the others have gone off on the cart. So, Ogvar, while they're waiting for Davy to make his appearance, perhaps we could bring Hans down here and we'll get him up to his house. What do you reckon?
Yes, okay. I'll see what I can do. I'll assist where I can.
Yeah, get Eric to help you, and we'll get him down on the hoist, and we'll see if hopefully there'll be a spare cart. I'll catch hold of somebody and see if we can get a spare cart to take him up to his home. So Elora's going to disappear off and just find one of the guards to try and rustle up another. Even if it's a hand cart, it doesn't really matter. Just some kind of cart that we can take.
They've gone. Everyone has walked back down towards the town.
Right. Okay. In that case, Elora will wait for them to get Hans off the ship and bringing him down. No, she won't. She'll go onto the ship, and I think what she'll do is she'll just dim door. She'll dim door Eric, Genric, herself, and Hans directly to Hans's home. Okay.
So you go back aboard the ship. You get hold of Hans. I imagine you probably kind of pick him up, and Eric is helping you support him. Genric grabs hold. You dim door. You step through, and you are at the threshold of Hans's house. So as you disappear, the rest of you left at the ship. What are you doing?
So that's left of the ship is myself, I believe.
Yeah, so it would be Ogvar, Otto, Esther, and Kaif, and Paul.
Okay, and you say there's a few. No, everyone's gone into town, so we can't really do much for any of those.
There are a few miners kicking about. They're kind of hovering at the gate. There's a small gaggle of them. Obviously, having heard Otto's instructions that they're going to go and clean up the mine, they haven't wanted to kind of follow after Brown Pants Davy. So they've kind of stayed where they are, just kind of kicking around quite uncertainly. They're kind of shooting fervent looks towards yourselves, notably towards you, Otto, almost looking like, what are we doing then? What's happening?
I think Otto's going to make a point of ignoring them for a little bit. He's going to play with the kids for as long as he can. He needs a little bit of chance to unwind himself.
Okay, so at this point, everyone apart from these miners has gone. They've all kind of slowly trailed off, and as one or two have gone, more and more have gone after. And with the carriage, the cart going, they've all kind of clustered around. The kids have kind of run off and being called by their parents. So all that is left at the gate is the ship. Yourselves now, minus Elora and the miners.
Well, let's not scare them too much then. I'm just going to return to my normal form and suggest that everyone needs to get everything packed and in order. We're going to go out probably in a couple of hours' time just to start work on it, because the sooner the better. And if we give Davy time to recover, then, well, there'll be issues. So
Okay.
I'll simply instruct them as to that and then wait around for them, I guess.
Are you instructing them to bring anything specific or take anything with them?
Provisions, tools, change of clothes, and that's about it. Plenty of water, I guess.
Okay, yeah. They give you a nod. The one doffs his cap to you. He's a slightly younger looking lad, maybe looks just broaching into adulthood, quieter certainly, a bit more subservient. He kind of doffs his cap to you, and they all disappear off. And as you watch them disappear, they go again back down this main road heading towards the centre of town. Some of them go further out as if going to their houses, but you notice that there's a bit of jockeying between them, a bit of kind of you do this, you do that, as they give each other instructions. And the young lad himself actually goes to one of the buildings which is closest to the northern exit of the town of Gatstaf, if I can find my map. And there are a couple of buildings right at the top end up by the gate. One of them is a longish looking, almost like a warehouse type affair. It's certainly not a residence. It's got quite small dingy windows. Doesn't look very well maintained, but you see he opens at the door, it opens up, and this is clearly some kind of almost like a store for the mine company. They've clearly got, you can see things like shovels and picks leaning up against the wall, and you'd imagine there's probably a lot of the gear that they need to actually run a mining operation is stored in here, as well as quite possibly the ores, which have been mined and brought back to the town. And he goes in there, and you hear noises as he's actually not too far away from the northern exit where this building's situated, and there's definitely noise coming out of there, which makes it sound like perhaps a cart is being loaded up with some goods, and things are being prepared.
I will, perhaps if I get the impression a cart is being prepared, because I have a trick that I've never used, I'm just going to wander up and politely mention, don't worry about the cart, I'll save them all carrying stuff.
Okay.
But we might need a lot of sacks.
Okay. You wander up into the doorway, poke your head through, and you can see that indeed this is a store of sorts. If you look in, you can see a lot of ores. There's a lot of silver dust in here. Everything is kind of coated with a fine gleam of silver. And indeed, this young lad is actually loading up a cart, and it looks like it's perfectly positioned to open up a side door, attach a pony, and drag it off. But seeing you say this to him, he doffs his cap a little bit again, kind of scrapes and nods and bows a little bit, clearly still quite intimidated by you and your trollish form, which you're not currently in, but he's seen it. And he begins to just start unloading it and shoving everything into a sack and kind of stacking it outside the door.
I shall nod approvingly and ask him his name before I leave.
Oh, I hate you.
That's an interesting name.
I hate you. He gives you a kind of a fleeting smile. Evan.
Good lad, Evan. I'll see you outside. And he will go back and enjoy the sun while he can, because it's been a bit dark recently.
Yeah. Okay. So, what are your plans at this point? All of you.
Well, Otto, of course, is planning to go to the mine. Once everyone has regathered everything, he has a little trick he wants to show everyone, and then he'll be on his way. Just probably back in 3 or 4 days, so everyone's got some sort of idea of when he might return.
Okay. Ryan? Or Otto? No? Yes. No? Ogvar.
Ogvar.
I'll get there eventually.
Yeah, that's me, yeah. I think Ogvar, from the update I was given, he's staying in the town, which is fine. I think he will sort of try, if it's like what's happening immediately or what's happening over the next couple of days, because Otto's going for a couple of days, isn't he?
Yeah. So, yeah, let's just say what are you doing what I'm thinking is the best way to split this up. If Otto is going to go off with Esther and the mining guys, what are you doing? What are your goals you want to accomplish in those 3 to 4 days in the town?
Okay, I think he just wants to make himself as useful as possible, possibly by sort of going through his mushrooms and or finding some more around the town, and sort of just seeing if he can make anything makes anybody a bit more easy, a bit more, or if there's anything that just like lightens the mood a bit.
Okay, nice. And Elora, what are your plans for 3 or 4 days?
I think Elora will be talking to Eric. I think she'll be popping backwards and forwards from the ship to make sure that Paul's also okay, because she's, at the end of the day, not all the crew members are that fond of Paul, so she's making Paul feel welcome as well. She will spend some time with the young priest. Having been enlightened on her journey with regard to the Archangel Avacyn and the fact that this is actually a very real thing, whereas she was very sort of atheist when she kind of set out, really, not thinking one thing or another, and certainly not a religious person. But I think with everything that's gone on, I think she might confide and share a little bit and ask some questions of the cleric, of the priestess. Perhaps find out a little more about Samuel, about how the town runs and how she can help and aid and support people. I think because she's going to know more about the town than anyone else, so I think that's probably what she'd do, is spend some time helping, perhaps talking to some of the locals, just trying to make herself helpful, between bouncing backwards and forwards between the ship and Hans's house to check in on him.
Okay.
And she definitely asked the cleric to come and see Hans as well.
Okay, so perfect. Let's deal with the immediate then. So immediate events that happen. You, having dim-doored Elora outside Hans's house, are able to get him inside, able to get him into his bed, settled, and are able to leave both Gemric and Eric in the building with him, essentially, to get themselves settled and just keep a general eye on him. Are you going to regroup straight away with Ogvar?
Yes, I think she would go back to meet up with Ogvar. She'd probably go back down towards the gates to see kind of where he'd gone and try and track him down. If she couldn't find him, she'd ask a couple of locals, or she'd ask around until she tracked him down if he wasn't anywhere obvious.
Okay, so once you've put him into bed, got him settled, you start making your way, and you do have to walk obviously through the main part of town and back up, so that's going to take you a little while. And you do pass some dregs of people, you pass some of these miner folk who are running around, heading towards their houses and look like they're getting ready to head out. And by the time Yeah?
Sorry, does she at any point come across Davy? Would she be able to track down where Davy is?
Are you looking for him specifically?
I think she would want... She knows he's gone back to presumably his abode to change himself. But if she goes down to the gate and finds that that Otto and the miners haven't yet left, I think the first thing she would like to do before tracking Ogvar down is to go and find out where Davy is, where his house is.
So let me just settle this.
Sure.
So Ogvar, nobody has moved from the ship at this point. All I'm saying is that you've settled Hans down and you're on your way back. While this has been going on, while Otto has been speaking to Evan and sorting a couple of things out. So this hasn't taken you long at all, because you've magically zapped over there and you're on your way back. So you would assume as soon as you turn around the corner, you can see up the main track towards the northern gate. You can see everyone gathered over there. So are you specifically going out of your way to look for Davy at this point, with the knowledge that the rest of your friends are still gathered?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Okay, so you want to try and find Davy. You don't know where he lives.
No.
You don't know this town.
No. So I think she would probably ask somebody or knock on a door and ask somebody, try and get hold of a local, and perhaps politely ask if they know where he might reside.
Okay. I mean, looking around, you can see that the majority of people have retired to the rhubarb and elderflower, and seem to be gathering there for some kind of celebration. Make me a Make me a search check, please.
A search check. Okay. Search. So, oh gosh, I haven't got the greatest search. It's only a +1, but okay, we'll give it a go. That's a 9 + 1 for a 10. That's very average.
Okay. So, despite you looking around, most people seem to be engaged in some form of festivities that are starting to brew. You look around and you're unable to find anyone in the vicinity to kind of catch hold of to ask the question.
Okay. I think at that point she's not going to push the issue. She'll go back down to the gate area where her friends are still gathered, and she's going to figure that he's going to come that way eventually anyway, so she'll go hang out with the rest of her friends.
Okay, perfect. So it is as you are all hung out together, you're perhaps having some decompression time, you're recovering from the events that you've been through personally, soaking up some very pale sunlight, and perhaps, Paul's whipped up a bit of a picnic for you. You've got a nice array of sandwiches and other bits and bobs which Paul's whipped up and floated down to you. So you're able to have what I would say is probably a good short rest. Sat on the ground, enjoying some food, enjoying each other's company after a couple of harrowing days, and just catching up in general. Esther is very keen to tell you about her Scrabble game, which she is almost entirely sure that Jenrick cheated on, because that was not a word. And you are able to enjoy some downtime, essentially. And after, an hour and 30 has passed roughly, you begin to see some of the miners appearing. They come, one first of all turns up, a small pack on his back, then another 2, then another 3, until you have a congregation of approximately 15 miners, including Evan, who has left all of the bags, aside from his own personal pack, outside their company building, we'll call it. And it is at this point they're kind of kicking around, they're looking over towards you where you are, I'm assuming just kind of stoically ignoring them for the time being, very much focused on your own thing you've got going on. When...
Fair.
Yeah?
Yep. Fair.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. When you hear a bit of a murmur go through the crowd, as clearly something has arrived to disturb their anxious shuffling, and looking over your shoulder you see that Davy has turned up in a clean pair of trousers, but he has turned up with a very light pack on his back, a scowl fixed firmly on his face, and you were able to watch as he kind of approaches these miners. There is a definite kind of cold shoulder going on.
From
Right,
them,
Davy?
or from him?
From the other miners.
Okay.
So Otto still thinks that Davy, is problematic as he's been, could be useful. At the end of the day, he's used to managing the mine and everything there, so as long as he gets off his high horse and actually works towards the community, he's probably quite useful. So he will just stroll over to Davy, this little ragged old man.
Oh, he's not
You're
old.
right.
He's middle-aged.
No,
He's
Otto.
fairly...
Otto is though.
Oh, right. Sorry, got you.
Yeah.
Got you now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So yeah, Otto will just sort of stroll over to him. It's like, got everything you need there, Davy?
Davy is wary of you. He eyes you with trepidation, but is still somewhere mustering up the brass bollocks to be standoffish. He very much looks down his nose towards you, and he is a, middle-aged. He's probably on the younger side of the middle-age scale, quite brawny, quite beefy. If I said Gaston, that's probably a good kind of picture that's in my head. All muscle, no real substance, a lot of ego. And he looks down his nose at you, his arms crossed, but instead of being crossed in a haughty or kind of upfront manner, it's more of a defensive posture this time. He's very much wary of you. And he just kind of shuffles his feet, mumbles, looks away from you as he does so, looking over towards this gaggle of miners, who you can see are all rubbernecking at this situation. And they very quickly break eye contact. One looks up at the sky, one goes, oh, really nice sunlight we're having, and it's a very grey day. They all do everything in their power to not make eye contact with either of you, fully shutting any kind of route out for Davy down. And you don't get much more out of him. He's just very much wary, but still trying to put up that front, but clearly has no support really anymore.
Well, if the miners don't support him, maybe we choose a new leader for them. I think also sort of cast his eyes around, maybe let his eyes rest on Evan. Evan, you had the smarts to think about going get the wagon. You just get everyone to drop all their stuff in bags here in the middle there. You too, Davy. Make sure you pay attention to what the young lad's saying. I'll only be a couple of moments.
Okay. So could you please make me a D20 roll then, please, Otto?
Kicking things off with a 14 tonight. 14,
nice. Okay. There is a bit of confusion. People aren't really sure what you're going to do with their possessions. But Evan is very keen. He's got a couple of bags spare, big bags, and he drops his own bag in first, and one by one people start kind of dropping their possessions in. Davy is very much resistant. He's huffing and grumbling, but it's very, very clear to you that he has lost a lot of standing with the miners, and under almost kind of a peer pressure where he's the last one, he's dragging his feet, he does eventually drop his bag in.
Okay. So, also it's just going to make sure no one's sort of holding on to anything too heavy. I imagine there's a fairly large pile of stuff. And look over to everyone, like, don't be too worried about this. And he can't really think of the words, so he's just going to change shape into that of a very large, powerful brown bear again. So he spend a lot of time in this form, and he'll try and do so in a way that's not too scary for them. And when he's fully changed, he'll ask all of the miners to take that gear and load him up. Tie it on with ropes, whatever you need to do.
Okay.
He is plenty strong enough. He's got a lot of strength there. So he's just suggesting that he can get everyone to load up, like I say, as if it's almost like saddlebags on a beast of burden or something. He's quite content with that idea.
Okay. Ryan, could you roll me a D20 advantage, please?
Oh, okay, at advantage. No problem. Okay, right. We rolled, the highest one was a 12.
Okay. So they balk slightly, seeing your bulk, and there is a brief moment where a couple of people are looking a bit scared, They've seen you turn into a troll, but a bear's something very different. And you imagine possibly a couple of the older ones have encountered bears in the wood before, and know that you don't really want to go and poke and mess with one of those.
I think seeing this, Otto would just offer a bit of encouragement by turning around, looking directly at Davy and saying, "Don't worry, I won't bite."
Yeah.
Okay, can you make me an intimidation check, please?
This isn't one of his things, so we'll see. We did well last time. We've got an 11 plus 2 for 13.
Yeah. Your form as a bear for Davy is less terrifying than a troll, but still more terrifying than normal. And you get the sense that he understands that you're doing this as a bit of a show. This is a bit of showmanship at this point. But with this being said, the young lad, this Evan, he seems to be the boldest of the group, especially in terms to interacting with yourself. And he steps forward and he kind of turns to one of the others and, Jeremy, can you pass me that rope? And he gets past the rope and he kind of approaches you, bit of trepidation, but seeing that you're probably stood very still, just patiently waiting for him to do something. He flings a rope over and he starts effectively jigging up a harness of a kind so that you can start hanging bags on. And he kind of turns to you and goes, sorry mister, tell me if it's too tight. I don't want to pinch.
You're right, lad. You go for it.
And as he's doing this, you see a couple of the miners. The one older folk goes, "All right, well, no time to waste." And as he waddles forward with a bag, and he's a older looking man, wiry, leathered brown, bit bow-legged. You know, he kind of spits out a lump of tobacco as he goes. Looks like he'd belong on the set of a western, really. And he starts helping to kind of load up the bags. And as the others see that, you know, actually you're not that scary really at this point in time, they too begin to load up bags. And as you know, they get a bit of a chain going. One person's passing a bag along. Evan points out, "Oh, we've got all the bags by the building." And they start making a bit of a chain, passing along bags from the building and loading you up until you are sufficiently saddled with bags and equipment, Otto.
Okay. So, Brownbow's got a strength of 27, so probably able to carry this without struggling too much, but obviously this is too much for Otto, and he doesn't really want to have to spend the time rearranging things. So what he's going to do, he's now going to turn back into the form of a human. And the beautiful thing about wild shaping is anything you're carrying melds with your form and disappears.
Huh.
Nice.
So when we're going to go for a little walk, lads. Don't worry about the gear. I'll bring it back when we're there. And he will just start walking in the direction of the mines. Okay.
You head off in the direction of the mines. I imagine you kind of say your goodbyes to your friends.
Yeah, I think at that point, Elora would. I think Elora would actually speak up just as he's about to leave. She'd give him a big hug, I think, and she'd turn round to say to the miners as she walked back through them, just say, she'd look directly at Davy and say, "They'll all come back different men when they've seen what we've dealt with up there." And she's just going to pointedly look at Davy and walk away.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Otto's face will become serious for just a moment, just long enough to let them see it.
And she'll give Esther a hug as well and say,
Yeah.
"Stay safe, Esther." And she will, she'll cast Mage Armor Greater on Esther before she leaves.
Excellent, yeah. So Davy has wandered off ahead. He's striding ahead in what is probably an attempt to try and keep some level of control. As you say your goodbyes, Paul has appeared holding Esther's pack, and he helps her slide it over her shoulders. And you are able to set off towards the mine. As you do so, obviously it's a couple of hours walk. But you begin to see some of the miners' personalities. You begin to get to know a couple of their names. Evan is very clearly the boldest of the lot, possibly emboldened by your favour. And it isn't too long before he drifts closer towards both Esther and yourself, Otto, and perhaps starts asking some questions, mostly about your abilities. How are you able to turn into a bear? Can you turn into any other animals? And other questions which are curiosity, genuine curiosity, and if you're not going to turn him away, he will kind of hang around you a bit like a lost puppy, asking more questions, asking a lot about the world outside of Gatstaf, and I imagine that Esther will indulge him, and you might as well.
For sure, yeah. And he'd also be quite inclusive in trying to get others to join in with the conversation too, if there's anyone nearby.
Yeah. Sure, and that's definitely something you'd see as Evan starts engaging in conversation. There's perhaps some whispering going like, oh, you better not ask him too many questions, he might get snapped up, and that kind of talk. But as they see that the youngest of their crew, possibly the most exuberant, the most exhausting, isn't being turned away, isn't being eaten by a troll or a bear, a couple of them float closer, just quietly listening in, maybe throwing a comment or two in there every now and again. The old bow-legged bastard, he kind of starts throwing some sage quips around, possibly resonating with your age more than anything else, Otto. He appears to be a bit of a wild card. So, yeah, you are able to walk up and gradually, over time, over the trip up, engage some of these miners in more talk, become a little friendly with them, and perhaps forge some new alliances within this group and start splitting away some of the more problematic people.
Exactly the plan, yeah.
Brilliant.
Great.
Okay, so as Otto and Esther disappear, they go and head back up towards the mine. It leaves Kaif, Elora.
I thought Kaif was going with them. Kaif was supposed to be going with them.
Was Kaif going with them? Apologies. Kaif would also be with you. And he would probably be a kind of a question point as well. They've never seen this guy before. They didn't see him with you at the beginning. So they do ask a couple of questions about his identity, which it will be up to you, Otto, to decide what they are told. And I'll leave you to think about that.
Yep, that's fair.
So, back at the ship, spread out on your nice gingham picnic blanket, which Esther had appropriated from somewhere, Ogvar and Elora. You are now left, almost in the shadow of the ship, having a picnic.
Oh, ace. Very civilised.
Yeah, you've got finger sandwiches, neatly trimmed up. There's a little, kind of like one of those metal, God, what they call them, where you put like the finger sandwiches and scones and stuff on.
Afternoon tea?
Afternoon tea tower kind of thing going on. It's very civilised.
Yeah, and Ogvar's there.
This is quite nice. This is quite nice, Ogvar. I'm worried about them going back, but I think everything's cleared out. Just, I don't think anything will have come back, but it is a bit of a worry. I suppose that's us. Another sandwich?
Yeah.
I think this one might be ham.
Thank you.
Or it could be fish. It's probably fish. That one's definitely fish. It's a fish sandwich. Salmon, I think.
So Ogvar will pick one up, and as you can imagine, Ogvar's probably never had an afternoon tea before, and the sandwiches are just far too small for anything really, so they just sort of all goes in one go.
Yes, the sandwiches disappear quite quickly. So Elora will pull out the... she'll... Orland, could you pass me the last 4? You've got 4 stagberry tarts in there. Could you... There's just 4 left, I think.
Sure thing. And he chucks out the 4 stagberry tarts. They land quite neatly on the plate, which you've emptied. Yeah.
Oh, your aim is getting so much better. Yeah, we haven't had a nice time in that mine. It wasn't a nice place, Orland. It really wasn't. She reaches out for the stagberry tarts and roughly plonks 2 into Ogvar's hands. Here, have these. They're still really fresh, so yeah.
Oh, yes.
And
they are. They still feel warm.
Yeah, I mean, she just drifts off slightly, and it's like she's staring into Ogvar's eyes, but actually she's drifted off somewhere, and in her head she's just thinking about how much she would like to be at Stagwick right now, and thinking about the Heart and Hearth and the bakery, and just thinking how nice it was there and how horrible her experiences have been since that point. It just seems a world away. She just drifts off there while she's munching the tarts and thinking about that. But yeah, I think that they'd finish up, she'd stand up, brush herself off and say to Ogvar, right, well, look, I'll go and check out that Paul's okay, and I'll take all this stuff back onto the ship, and well, I don't know whether you want to wait for me or whether you've got other things to do, but I think I'll go off and I'll go and see the cleric lady and see if there's anything I can do to help.
Oh, okay, yes, you go, you can do that, that's not a problem at all. I have a feeling I may be able to assist the townfolk in my own small way, so, yes, we'll see each other later, I suppose.
Yeah, well, you can always call on me. We've all got these amulets, so, everybody's... Did we have 4 or 5? I can't remember if we had 4 or 5. I know Eric had one, and Esther had one. I had one.
5.
Yeah, so Otto's got one as well, and so's Ogvar. Yeah, you've got an amulet, so if you need to call me or you need something, just holler, I'm just going to go and see what things are like, make sure that things are, well, ship-shape, so to speak. And with that, she's going to take her leave. She'll pack up the picnic blanket, take some bits, and then she'll kind of bundle that stuff and herself back up the ladder to the ship.
Okay, you head back up the ladder to get back onto the ship to go and see.
It's not
Paul.
the infinite ladder. She'll use the ladder that's now up the side of the ship. I'm sure they've put another one down.
Okay, and that leaves you, Ogvar. What are you doing?
Ogvar sort of watches Laura climb the ladder and waves her goodbye, and reaches into his bag and pulls out his notebook or journal, whatever, left by Portia. And he's going to flick through, and he's going to think that there must be something in here that can help the townsfolk. And I've had a little look myself, and he finds across a few that may well be found in a town setting, and I would like to be able to go and search for some. So he's going to become part apothecary, and I don't know, depends on the effect. Part dealer, I'm not sure.
Street corner.
Well, he's doing it in the best intentions.
Oh, dear.
He's doing it with the best intentions.
He's going to sell his mushrooms in little baggies, isn't he?
Life is bad, let me help you.
Little mushrooms in baggies.
I'm either going to go become a bit of a local hero or become a bit of a local fiend, and I'm not quite sure which way it's going to go.
Could be the same thing locally, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. Give me 1 second. Let me just pull something up here.
Yeah. So he's identified 3 that he feels 4, which he feels may be useful to some people.
Okay. What are those 4 mushrooms?
Okay. So the first one that is, I think, generally sort of going to be accepted as a good thing is going to be temple bells, which basically is going to, anyone who's injured, it gives them a +2 HP. So it might sort of get a few people back up on their feet and feeling a bit better.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Temple bells. What were the others?
The other one that's, I say, potentially a good thing is I can't pronounce this one, but the Bolentasum? It's on page 7. Boletus space AUSUM.
Oh, that one. Boletus Ausum,
Yes,
call it.
that one, which basically gives people a buff to their con. So if someone's like, it just makes people sort of a little bit tougher and sort of push through, and maybe they don't need healing, they just, I don't know, con that would go against, like, if anyone's hurt type thing. I'm thinking that could help in a way.
Okay. Brilliant.
Okay, so we're getting to the ones that may be a bit controversial. We've got the ones I would like to do a dream shade, which basically lets people, it knocks people out and makes them sleep. So if there's people that are struggling to rest, like got things on their mind, and I could give them something to help them sleep.
Does it induce certain dreams at all?
I don't think so. Page 10.
Okay.
So is Ogvar creating these?
These are just eating the raw mushroom effects.
These are just the raw mushroom effects. What was the fourth one you had in mind?
So the fourth one, if people are a little bit down and they just want a little bit of a good time. We're going to give.
Are they magic, by any chance, these ones?
Well, the effects are they laugh for 1d4 hours. So just trying to.
No.
Oh no, is it like Tasha's hideous laughter?
So I just want people to feel better.
I can think of
Which
something
one's
else it
that
might be
one?
like.
A lot of people just giggling to themselves, I'm thinking. But he's doing it.
Do you get the munchies with it as well?
But he's screwing up some tea shortly.
And that is Giggle Cap, isn't it?
Giggle Cap, page 12, yes. That's what he wants to
Giggle
do.
Cap.
But all in the best possible way, in the nicest meaning.
Best intentions, right.
Yes.
Okay, so you are going to roll me, because what I'm going to say is, if you are just trompsing round trompsing round the town, the local kind of plains which surround it, and perhaps are you just looking at the town and plains, or are you actually wanting to go into the forest a little bit as well?
Well, these are all, judging by his notes, these are all found in towns, in urban settings, so that's why he sort of narrowed the search down to that.
Okay, brilliant. So you can make me, I think, did we have a find mushroom check?
Yes, we do.
You can make me a find mushroom check.
Okay, I rolled an 8, but I do have a plus 15 to it. So that's going to be...
That'll do it, yeah.
23.
23. Okay, you can make me a... Roll a d8 for me, please.
D8, yeah, no trouble. A 4.
4. Okay. You are going to make me... I would like 4 d20 rolls from yourself.
4 d20 rolls.
And then can I have 2... 1 from each of you, a d4 from Elora and a d4 from Otto.
A D4 from Elora, oh right.
Yep.
Right.
And then just chuck all the numbers at me, but not at once because I'll get confused.
Plus it might hurt.
Right, Elora rolled a 3.
3, okay.
Otto rolled a 3.
Yay.
Otto, roll me another one.
A 4.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so on my 4 rolls, I didn't do too well. I did a 3, a 2, an 8, and another 2.
On a d20?
Yep, on d20s.
When you got to check which dice you rolled, they were pretty bad, right?
Can you re-roll that one of those 2s for me, please?
Yeah.
Sounds like the dice are under the effects of something, I don't know.
I rolled an 8.
You've already got an 8. Roll another one.
A 12.
Hooray!
Christ.
God.
He hit double digits. Just give him the credit. Please.
Okay.
I've had a week off. I'm out of practice.
Okay, so, what we are going to do... Jesus Christ. You have spent some time, and I'm going to say probably the majority of the morning, walking around the town, walking around the areas in between buildings. You nearly get chased off once or twice by a woman with a broom, as you are kind of digging around like the foundation of her house, looking for mushrooms and all sorts of stuff, until she kind of realises who you are, and then just kind of leaves you to it. Some strange man looking in corners for mushrooms, but you are able to gather some mushrooms, and you actually have a variety of mushrooms that you find, possibly more than you were expecting for such a small location.
Good.
So you find, let's see, the first on the list. So we had a 2, and the 2 is perfect. Can you please roll me a d6?
Okay.
Ryan.
Yes. The dice tray gone. Oh, there it is. I've moved.
How did you lose a dice tray?
I don't know. It's in front of me. Right, that's a 3.
To mimic.
A 3.
Yes.
He's using it as a bowl for all his mushrooms that he's collected.
Yeah. Okay. So you are able to. The first thing you find as you're kind of digging around, and it's actually Hans's house. You find these little beauties. You find what you think on the floor are some spilled gold coins. Kneeling down, thinking, "Oh, just my luck." You discover that these are actually collections of some of the mushrooms that you were indeed looking for. As you find 75 tiny golden mushrooms, the same size, diameter, and luster as gold coins, Bellitus ausum.
70. How many?
75. I'm just going to say 75. You found 3 groups of them. They grow in like 25 groups of 25 on average. So we're just going to say 75. You find 75 of them.
Okay. 8.
Okay. So you know that these mushrooms, harmless to touch, delicious to eat, and eating them gives the consumer a 1d6 bonus to constitution for 10 hours.
Oh, bloody hell. For what? 10 hours?
10 hours.
Oh my god.
And you do know that you might be able to distill these into some golden syrup. A recipe that Portia has left for you in the back of the book. The next thing that you find was a number 3 on the list. Number 3, Brawling Ball.
Christ.
And I'm going to roll a d6 for you there. You find 5 of these, and they're really hard to spot, funnily enough. They're small, they're dirty brown, and they look like a button mushroom. You pick them and they are really difficult to pick. They're especially tough, and you know these are chewy. And according to your notes, they have a bitter iron-like taste, and quite a few people have lost teeth chewing on these mushrooms. But you know that for 4 hours after consuming the mushroom, you gain a resistance to bludgeoning damage, and unarmed strikes deal an extra 1d6 damage.
Oh, nice.
You find 5 of those. Brawling Ball.
Okay, I'm not going to be giving them to any patients.
Sorry, how long did you say that was for?
4 hours.
D4 hours. No, hang on.
Just 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours.
4 hours, sorry, yes, you're right.
And it was a 1D what? 1D?
1d6 additional damage.
Thank you.
Okay, the next ones you find are... Find it. Huh. Pretty helpful. You only find one of these. And it's nestled kind of in the church flower beds. And you're only able to see it because you see a golden glimmer. It is a bright yellow mushroom, shaped like a crown with 5 points. And it is a golden crown mushroom. Referencing your notes, you know that when this is consumed, the radiant mushroom grants the user temporary immunity to poison for an hour. During this time, the user can also detect the presence of poisons and poisonous creatures within a 30-foot radius. Additionally, the user gains a +2 bonus to Constitution saving throws. However, after the effect ends, the user feels a wave of nausea, suffering a -1 penalty to Constitution checks for the next 1d4 hours.
I'm giving up writing all this down now. I'm giving up.
Okay, the next one you rolled was a 12. This is a familiar mushroom as you find it and pick it. And you recognise its pale yellow colour, its flat disc-shaped cap, and the strong scent of garlic. This is Orzo's kiss.
Yeah.
When boiled, it breaks down into smaller grains and if served with a tomato-based sauce with ground meat, forms a tasty dish. Upon consumption, you become violently Italian for 1d10 minutes.
How many of those did I find?
How many of...
I don't know, good question. Roll me a d12.
D12, hold on. That's a D10. Hold on. It's not going well tonight. 12!
Yeah, you find 12 of them.
I find 12. Ace.
You find 12 of them. Okay, brilliant.
God.
And then the last two that you find also feature on the list of mushrooms that you were hoping to find.
Yay.
You find 7 dream shades.
Nice.
Deep lavender colour and smells like lavender. You find them actually hidden amidst a bed of lavender, possibly where they've gone unnoticed. And then you find 4 giggle caps.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
That is your morning's worth of effort on mushroom finding.
Brilliant.
So a fairly decent crop, I'd say.
Yeah, very good. And I think once he's done all that and he's got him, he'll sort of sift through them and think, well, like, Orzo's kiss, I don't think I want to give that to anybody in town. I don't think I can cope with that. And and then yes, that's one. So he's thinking he's going to probably go to what was her name? The cleric.
Nobody knows because nobody asked her.
No.
Okay.
Nobody asked her name.
So I'm going to go to find said cleric, which I believe is where Elora went, and sort of just go there in the idea to sort of offer these if they're any use to anybody, and hopefully not get arrested for possession.
Possession of mushroom.
How many of personal consumption?
As the Gatstaf gathering begins to move away and mull over what has happened, Hans is carefully taken back to his cottage and left in the constant care of Eric and Jenric. Meanwhile, Davy has decanted back to his abode to grab some cleaner garb, and in his absence, Otto, with the help of his new sidekick, Evan, has gathered the supplies needed to thoroughly turn over the mine and do the deeds that have to be done. Now, with the party split and the afternoon tea consumed, Ogvar gets down to the business of book studies, natural remedies, and a broom up the backside. Thanks for joining us, folks. We hope you will join us next week for more shenanigans in episode 195.